because Caitlin Clark's white, that's why little girls have gravitated towards her. I am floored.
Did you see Monica McNutt's recent remarks on Caitlin Clark's accomplishment on ESPN? She forced defenseless children into a completely nonsensical race narrative. Additionally, you won't believe how fast this backfired. We are going to demonstrate the precise moment to you. McNutt attempted to argue that Clark's appeal is based on race, utterly disregarding the reality that audiences from all walks of life are lining up to watch her perform. Stay tuned as we dissect how this absurd interpretation breaks down when you consider the real data.
Once again, we got somebody involved with ESPN saying one of the most ridiculous things we've ever heard in our lives, and that is bringing racial bias into supporting Caitlin Clark, particularly when it comes to little girls.
Did you see the precise moment Monica McNutt went too far, shocking basketball fans everywhere? It wasn't a casual remark or remark. She purposefully used children as the focal point of her contentious racial debate against Caitlin Clark. The criticism was swift and intense due to something that McNutt did that was really harmful. She implied that racial bigotry was the main reason why young females were endorsing Clark.
It has to show up in our storytelling, and it has to be encouraged by our families.
Yeah.
To me, right? And so covering the WNBA this past season, Caitlin Clark's rookie year, for all of the conversation that surrounded her, some which was fair and some which wasn't, the one thing that I cannot deny is the amount of little girls that were showing up to follow her. Little girls with their parents and the fervor and the energy there.
Why her?
Same thing.
Why her?
Well,
The fact that McNutt used defenseless youngsters as proof for her racial theory is what makes this situation so vile. She was effectively accusing young girls of racial bigotry for supporting a player they look up to, rather than merely making remarks about Clark's popularity. Consider that for a moment. Rather than recognizing that children merely like watching amazing basketball performances, McNutt decided to instill racism into their reasoning. How fair is it to young fans who merely wish to watch the game?
Angel Reese when I had a chance to cover their games, but I think Caitlin represented. And again, some of this to me probably is not fair to her because it was not anything that she said or was truly based on her personality, but she was a white girl from the middle of America. And so she represented a whole lot to a lot of people, whether that is truly what she prescribed to or not.
When I had the opportunity to cover Angel Reese's games, I said the same thing. However, I believe Caitlin represented. And once more, I believe that some of this is unfair to her because it was neither based on her words nor on her personality. She was a white girl from the middle of America, so she represented a lot to a lot of people, whether or not that was actually what she prescribed to them. For the WNBA, the timing couldn't have been worse. The league was seeing a huge increase in popularity and viewership at the time, but McNutt's polarizing remarks threatened to ruin all of that goodwill. Her race-based narrative caused needless animosity at what should have been a time of unity and advancement for women's basketball, instead of commemorating this historic period.
We can all say she is a dynamic basketball player and a force both on the court and the marketing sense. But I do think, same thing with folks that may have fallen in love with Angel Reese that she may or may not have agreed with everything they had to say either. We attach our fandom to these icons for all types of reasons, and sometimes they may not be based on all.
The way that McDonald's statements flatly defied the facts in arenas across the nation is especially noteworthy. McNutt's account differs greatly from the reality of WNBA game attendance. Fans from a wide range of backgrounds have been swarming places to see Clark perform, demonstrating that her appeal cuts across racial lines. The video footage shows that McNutt's race-based argument is wholly unrelated to the real events taking place in the.
Yeah, it's a new low, even for people involved with ESPN accusing little girls of racial bias, but Monica McNutt is one of those WNBA media members that walks around, I don't care what she says, she's got real venom and animosity towards Caitlin Clark.
Instead of presenting her viewpoint as her own, McNutt did so as though it were an undeniable fact. She gave viewers little opportunity to draw their own conclusions about why fans could be drawn to one of the most captivating players in the game by claiming that Clark's success was solely influenced by race. This strategy insulted the fans' intelligence in addition to offending them.
Out for it, she had said some ridiculous things during an interview, and people just can't believe this, frankly. But it's where we're at. ESPN, I guess, I don't know what they would do if they couldn't race bait at this.
Called out for it. People simply cannot believe this, honestly, but it's where we are at ESN. I suppose I don't know what they would do if they couldn't race bait at this point. She had stated some absurd things in an interview. Social media went viral as soon as McNutt spoke those things. She was downplaying Clark's athletic achievements by implying that her success was somehow related to her race rather than her exceptional skills on the court, according to critics from a variety of media sites and platforms. The critique brought to light a larger topic regarding how race is discussed in sports and whether or not these discussions benefit the participating athletes.
None of that is why there's a bunch of little kids. If you, like, the people you have a problem with, Caitlin Clark is not, like, she's literally, they hate her too. They hate her too. You just want to say Caitlin's only popular because she's white, and that's fine. That is fine. Go out and say it. Say it with your chest. Say it with your chest. Go out and try to make...
Nobody was posing the most crucial query on social media, while critics were busy criticizing McNutt. Why didn't previous white WNBA players produce the same effect if Clark's popularity is truly based on race? This is where McNutt's entire case collapses in a spectacular way.
Because the war CC's popularity is discussed, you would think that Sabrina Ionescu and Kelsey Plum are apparently black basketball players. This person said you think she's the first white woman in the WNBA.
Consider it. Throughout its history, the WNBA has had many successful white players. Lobo, Rebecca Diana Terrace, and Sue Bird are not just names. They are game legends who dominated for many years. These women have enormous fan following, gold medals from the Olympics, and championship rings. The historical data utterly contradicts everything McNutt is attempting to convince us of. So why weren't white fans packing arenas decades ago if their sole interest was in seeing white players?
Little girls from Dallas now that got brought into the game recently because of the boom, because of it's now trendy. The WNBA is now trendy, so there's a lot of parents bringing their kids. A lot of parents that got into the WNBA through Caitlin Clark might live in these other cities, bringing their young daughters to games in other cities. And you're seeing how many young girls are fans of Enrique, how many young girls are fans of Angel, how many young girls are fans of Sabrina, of Asia from Vegas. Like, it's a really good thing.
Even more telling is the fact that, long before she ever set foot on a WNBA court, Clark was smashing attendance records at the University of Iowa. Her collegiate games regularly attracted sizable crowds of people who had never seen women's basketball before. Should we assume that Clark's race is the reason these new fans discovered women's basketball so quickly, or was it her incredible scoring record and thrilling style of play that drew them in?
WNBA is coming off its most successful campaign in the league's 28th season history, setting highs in viewership, attendance, and merchandise sales. Undoubtedly, Fever guard Caitlin Clark was the primary reason for the spurt in popularity.
McNutt wants us to disregard the numerous basketball-related reasons why fans watch Clark. The three-pointers and the logo the nuke disregards the performances that break records and thinks it's solely a race issue. In addition to being incorrect, it is an insult to basketball fans worldwide who, regardless of a player's appearance, can recognize excellence when they see it.
Thing really did kickstart from Caitlin Clark, and that's fine. But it's an objective good thing. It's fine that she has the most fans. It's fine that she has the most fans, because everyone has more fans.
Examine the facts. Compared to typical WNBA games, Clark's games feature more thrilling offensive plays, three-pointers, and highlight reel moments. That is why people pay attention. Before choosing which games to watch, they are not looking at the racial mix of the teams. Instead, they're searching for entertainment and outstanding basketball skills, which Clark delivers.
That's the case in every single sport. That is the reason why they're hometown heroes. They're a reason why people, like a lot of people, like the story of Caitlin Clark going to her local school and making them basically and turning them into one of the best schools in the country. That's a legitimate story, which there's no problem. But to add the asterisk of, well, it's not Caitlin's fault that this happened, means that you actually have a problem with that, which means you have a problem with those.
Remember how Steph Curry transformed the NBA with his long-range shooting? Clark's extraordinary basketball skills are radically changing what we believed was possible in women's basketball. He is doing the same thing for the women's game, extending the court and creating spacing that creates a completely different viewing experience. This basketball revolution is exactly what McNutt's narrative about race fails to mention.
Are you not embarrassed? Like, this is like in 2015 when Steph Curry took over. It's the style of play. We've seen it before in the men's side. It is when somebody has a style of play that people really want to tune into, really want to watch, and makes people excited to tune in, they will watch.
We're talking about 30 to 35 feet from the basket as Clark pulls up from the logo, and she is doing more than just scoring points. She is actually altering the geometry of women's basketball defense. Defenders must now watch over parts of the court that they were previously unconcerned with. This drastically changes spacing and offensive tactics, making the game more dynamic and appealing to fans. It's like witnessing basketball change in front of your eyes.
Want to know how many little white kids looked up to Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan? You got to be shitting me right now. It's got nothing to do with anything.
Clark's influence goes well beyond his shooting range. Most players wouldn't even try threading passes through defensive coverages, but Clark's exceptional court vision enables her to do so. These full-court assists and no-look dimes provide the kind of viral moments that go viral on social media in a matter of minutes, attracting fans who might not otherwise watch women's basketball. You don't consider her race until a highlight video of Clark attempting an unbelievable pass between 3 defenders appears in your stream. Do you think I should watch more of that?
If it was anybody of any kind of color and they carried themselves in a way on and off the court the way Caitlin Clark does, and I'm sorry, but she's better than all the players that we're bringing up here. And that's the big thing. She's better than those players.
The important thing is that Caitlin Clark is superior to all the players we're bringing up here, even if it was someone of any color who carried themselves in a similar manner both on and off the court. She is superior to the athletes. When Clark is playing for the Fever, the spectator experience is radically different from what WNBA fans are used to. The score increases, the pace quickens, and there is a far greater chance of an incredible play. Younger fans who grew up watching the NBA's three-point revolution may find this approach especially intriguing. They are watching because Clark provides the fast-paced, high-scoring action they are craving, not because they identify with any particular race.
That's what we got to get past, is the Sabrina Ionescu's and all that. No. They did not resonate the way that Caitlin Clark has. All right? And look, they carry themselves fine off the court, but I'm saying Caitlin Clark's the total package all the way around.
Fascinatingly, fans wanted to follow Clark's story while she pursued her professional career because of her collegiate accomplishments. Her runs at Iowa State Records created a foundation of interest that went beyond the usual audience for women's basketball. Supporters took an interest in her path rather than her race. They developed strong emotional bonds with her when she joined the professional ranks after witnessing her smash scoring records and go on lengthy tournament runs.
Now, the question would be, are parents of other races allowing their kids to become Caitlin Clark fans, or are the old WNBA fandom steering their kids away from that? Maybe that's a question we should ask.
The true story is revealed by the spike in Fever Games viewership over prior seasons. Basketball innovation, not race, is the focus. When you see Clark play, demographics are not on your mind. You're seeing someone redefine the boundaries of what's feasible on a basketball floor.
A lot of those videos of those kids coming up after games and her signing autographs, there were a lot of little black girls amongst those kids. So I wonder if this is really as big an issue as Monica McNutt wants to make it out to be. I think what she's saying is ridiculous, and to tie it to little girls, I mean, we're hitting whole new levels of bottom feederness here.